What's good in the hood? What's poppin'? What's tea? Welcome to Baby Mama Anonymous, episode 1. I'm your host, Zy'Amber, and I'm super excited that you joined me today. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts and Anchor. Same name, Baby Mama Anonymous. I have a personal YouTube channel where I'll be posting the BMA podcast content and other content. You know, like how the YouTube influencer girlies do. The vlogs, the hauls, the mom vlogs, and so much more. So all of that information will be down below in the description box. Before we jump into this episode's topics, I wanted to tell you guys who I am and why I created BMA. I'm Zy'Amber Pitts. I'm 22 years old and I live in Birmingham, Alabama. I'm a content creator and entrepreneur. And I also have a 1-year-old daughter and I'm currently pregnant with my son. I've been inspired to create content for women since 2019 from my personal experiences growing into womanhood and motherhood. I felt like having a podcast would be a great opportunity to share those experiences and have the tough conversations I was searching for about how to overcome obstacles and heal during that transition. I thought long and hard about this podcast, okay? I've planned, I've cried, I've had some doubt. I invested in equipment. I created a whole lot of drafts, created a whole lot of topics and things that I wanted to talk about. And it's been pretty tough, especially with trying to figure out what platform and software to use to edit my podcast. But here we are. Okay, we are here, episode 1. So thank you again for listening, and I hope you keep listening every week and join in on the topics. Baby Mama Anonymous is a podcast where we'll discuss the growing pains and transition into womanhood, parenthood, and the journey to healing. Baby Mama Anonymous is a safe space for women to listen and talk about our raw individual experiences with pregnancy, relationships, postpartum depression, parenting, and much more. It took me a minute to come up with the podcast name. I was very conflicted about it because I wanted the name to be marketable, because I wanted everybody to join in and listen. The word baby mama is very controversial and it has a very negative connotation. But the main purpose of the podcast is I basically wanted to share the untold truth and shed positive light on single motherhood. So the goal is to change that negative connotation into a positive. Now, allegedly, word on the street is if you're a baby mom, you're a single mother, and regardless whether you like it or not, somewhere around the world, someone is referring to you as a baby mother, even if you do not call yourself a baby mom, okay? But allegedly, Jada is our leader. I don't know how true that is. That's just what they say on the streets, honey. That's what they say has the baby mama culture in a chokehold. I don't know how true that is. I just work in public relations. I'm just here to organize our meetings and press conferences, and I basically serve as the spokesperson. So we'll be meeting here every week at Baby Mama Anonymous. Again, subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts and Anchor. So if you missed the meeting, you can tune in to the replay. All right. But on a serious note, this podcast isn't just for mothers. Again, that goes back to why I was kind of hesitant on choosing the name. But I said, you know what? Why not? It's plenty of other content creators that have controversial business names that are very marketable and that still work. And people still listen to the content. People still like the content and they like the creator and the host. So I'm like, you know what? Whatever. This for everybody. Okay, so make sure y'all join the squad over here. Let's get into today's topic. It is 2022, you guys. It is January 10th, 2022, and it's currently 12:44 a.m. I'm kind of doing this kind of late. You know, I got mom duties during the day. But shout out to us. We thought the world was going to end, but we're here. So let's do a quick recap of 2021. I know y'all saw it. If you have a Twitter, you have Facebook, I know you saw it. They posted the Twitter 2021 calendar. Every month when something crazy happened, it was added to the calendar. So we're going to do a quick recap. So at the beginning of 2021, the U.S. Capitol was attacked by Big Daddy T supporters, you know, the redneck civilians. We also had the Gorilla Glue lady, okay? She made big bank. She made a lot of money. She's still kind of being greedy, in my opinion. I feel like she just needs to stop putting the wrong products in her hair. I don't think she learned her lesson. Next, we had Miss Jocelyn Hernandez, baby. Do it like it's your birthday, baby. Okay? It's so crazy that she had a really popular viral song in 2021. Coming from Love and Hip Hop, she was not doing that good, but shout out to Miss Jocelyn. And also going with that, Big Lex on Jocelyn's Cabaret with the whole double homicide. That was a viral moment. I felt like the comment was very insensitive. It was funny, but a little insensitive. Okay. We also had Portia and her new Nigerian babe. We had that dumbass crate challenge. I saw y'all niggas out there on them crates. Shout out to y'all. A lot of y'all niggas didn't win y'all money, but shout out to y'all. Y'all get an A for effort, and y'all get a little something for sportsmanship. So shout out to y'all dumbasses. We also had Squid Game. We had Squid Games on Netflix. Very great series. I think I watched the dubbed version of it. A lot of people say that if you watch the undubbed version, I don't know how it went. I don't know how it goes, but I heard that the undubbed version was even better, and like the storyline was a little different. So I have to go back and watch Squid Games, okay? We also had the PPP loans. Shout out to you bitches who bought y'all crab legs and y'all bundles and y'all Balenciagas. I ain't getting none of that PPP money. I was scared. But I'm like, none of y'all niggas went to jail. No, nobody went to jail. Some people did. I'm lying. They was trying to get millions of dollars. And they got millions of dollars. I just wanted a couple thousands. Next year, I'm not missing no more loans. I'm signing up. We also had the Astro World incident. RIP to the individuals that lost their lives at that big concert. 2021, the Pokemon came. We thought it was over. Girl is not. Came back and brought some friends, brought some family members. So that was crazy. Amorion came on through and was shaking some shit up. Overall, for me, I would say 2021 was a pretty decent year. Y'all was outside. And I say y'all because I wasn't. Just a little bit. Like, I enjoyed my birthday. My birthday was in February. I had some drinks. I went to the club. I hung out with my family and friends here and there. But I was a new mom, so I was kind of staying inside. Everybody else was coming out of quarantine. Y'all was enjoying the loan money in the club. No mask. Elbow to elbow, shoulder to shoulder. Smoking hookah. Eating crab legs out the same bag. No hand sanitizer. That shit was nasty. Then you got on Twitter and Facebook the next morning and told us to pray for you. I don't like that. I don't think that you should go outside and you bumping elbows and shit with people in the club and then you want me to pray for you. Whew, child. But being on lockdown revealed a lot of truth, and I feel like in 2021 it was like a self-reflection year for myself, some of my family members and my friends, and just certain people I interact with on a daily. It made a lot of us try to plan for our futures more. So this kind of goes into why I titled this episode, I think New Year resolutions are corny. I think that they're corny. I think it's just something that people say. I feel like you don't need to wait until January 1st to be a better you. The phrase itself, I feel like, is corny. If you're doing or posting or you have New Year resolutions for the gram or TikTok, you really don't have New Year resolutions. You're just posting something. However, I do think that establishing like resolutions or setting goals for yourself is necessary, because some people need to establish and commit to goals. Some people need that structure and discipline of goal setting, but it doesn't work for me. And this is why that never worked for me. I didn't find out about New Year resolutions until middle school. So after the Christmas break, the morning assignment was, what are your New Year resolutions? Girl, I was stressed. I was stressed out. I didn't have one. I didn't know what to put, baby. Listen, your girl gets it done, so I know I put something down. I can't remember. I don't remember if it was great or not, but I was extremely stressed out, and I didn't really take having and establishing New Year resolutions serious until high school. And I was really just doing it because it was a social media thing to do. You do the recap from the last year, and then you go into the new year and you say, I'm going to work out, or in the year of blah, 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 I will be attending blah, blah, blah college or university. And so for me, that was what was happening, because in high school, that is when I really started to learn more about goal setting. You sit down, you write out your 3-year plan, your 5-year plan, and you answer the questions. Well, where do you see yourself next year? What school do you want to go to? And I didn't really take it serious until really my senior year. I always had an idea of what I wanted to do. Growing up, I was always an artist. When I was younger, I wanted to be on Project Runway. I wanted to be a fashion designer. So I kind of of stuck with that throughout my educational career. But when I got to high school, it kind of switched up a little bit, and I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do because I was doing makeup. I had so much stuff going on. I just know I wanted to create art. That was my thing. So sitting down and trying to create these goals for like the colleges, and it was a lot. I still did it, but it was like I started to put pressure on myself to meet these deadlines. I ended up having anxiety and not getting things done, because for me, going into high school, ninth grade was a really tough transition, real hard transition, because it was like, okay, now you are an adult. And I had jobs and stuff in high school. I wanted to go to college, but I didn't know how I was going to get there. So I think that too was really tough for me. I made pretty decent grades in high school, but I didn't have much information, honestly, about how to sign up for scholarships and like what to do. I was pretty lost. And so I set all these goals, and a lot of them I didn't meet, and it kind of left me feeling depressed. And so after high school, I started to set more realistic goals for myself. So I attended a community college here in Birmingham, and I went for art. I was going to transfer to another university to pursue fashion design or art. So that was kind of like my plan. I was working. I had so many jobs, y'all. I had like 3 jobs at one time. One of the goals that I kind of set for myself, like I said in high school, I was a makeup artist. I wanted to work at the MAC counter. I wanted to be a MAC girl, and I did it. I got the job. I was a freelance makeup artist for a while. Very great experience. We got to break that down, because y'all MAC girls, y'all something else. Y'all bitches is rude to other people. Y'all makeup be ugly, and y'all be rude as shit. But anyway, also after I graduated, I started my online jewelry boutique. Shout out to you if you supported Luxuries Boutique back in the gap. If you supported me, shout out to you. But I just worked. I felt like me working and getting things that I needed, getting certain things done was better, because I'm a dreamer. So when I think about things, I dream big. And I felt like at that time, I was really depressed, and I had a lot of anxiety from these quick transitions, and I didn't know how to kind of make my dreams a reality. Now, some of them I did, like being a makeup artist. I even was a freelance makeup artist outside of my mom's house, even when I had my apartment, my jewelry business. But when I moved out, it was like I had a lot of pressure on me. So I ended up dropping my business. I kind of dropped entrepreneurship, and I regret it. Sometimes I regret it, at times I don't, because I feel like it was a thing that I needed to do at that time, and I appreciate where I was at that time, because as you know, being an entrepreneur, some days you make the money, some days, some months you don't. And although my business had done so well, I wasn't real versed in entrepreneurship. I didn't know anything about saving, investing for your business. I was just doing something. So as soon as I was getting it, I was spending it. That's really what it was. And it was a lot of irresponsibility that came from having so much money all at one time. And so I told myself, okay, we're gonna drop this for right now, because this is too much for me. I was in college. I worked at Starbucks in the airport, Birmingham airport, as a barista trainer. I worked at MAC. I also worked at the school in the public relations office as like their little assistant, and I had a business. So I had a lot on my plate, and I had a dog, which was like a child. I felt overwhelmed. So I said, I'm just gonna work, because the only goals I need to set right now is making rent. I need to make enough money to get Ubers until I can get a car. I need enough money to eat. I need money for dog food and the dog and pet necessities and my personal things. And so that's where my mind was. Looking back on it, I'm like, yeah, that was pretty simple-minded, but that was the space I was in at that time, because I felt like I needed to focus on transitioning into becoming an adult. I was living by myself. So I kind of put a lot of my dreams and aspirations kind of on the back burner. So when 2020 came, I was pretty much taking it day by day. I still was working. Also, the Pokemon came through. That kind of stopped me from being able to get jobs like right away. In 2020, I got pregnant with my first baby, and I had a miscarriage, an early miscarriage. 2020, I was also homeless. No, I'm kind of skipping around. Excuse me. I had my miscarriage. A month later, I was pregnant with my daughter. I was homeless and pregnant. when I was in the homeless shelter, my goals and my perspective on life was different. So my goals at that time was get out of the space and the situation that I was in. So I was working. I had 2 jobs at the homeless shelter. I saved my money. We got to get into that. So I'm going to tell the whole story about me being homeless in a future episode. But I would say that while being in a women's shelter, I started back to dream more. It was like I had so much free time. All I could really do was sit and like cry or journal and write out my ideas and resurface things within me. And so that's what I did. I made a lash vendor list. I had this wholesale business idea. So many projects and things that I did in the homeless shelter that I ended up doing after I got out, but that was just where I was in 2020. The end of 2020, I was no longer in the homeless shelter, but I still didn't have stable living arrangement. I still didn't have that stability with having housing. And so that was a big goal, establishing somewhere to stay. Moving into 2021, new mom. I was just focused on being a mom. I was so scared. I was so nervous to have my baby. I had my baby December 22nd of 2020. So going into the new year of 2021, I didn't have any resolutions. I really didn't have any goals because I was so focused on being a mom. This is my first year into motherhood, still very fresh and very brand new for me. So I didn't really know what to do and where to go. I was also in a very toxic relationship for 2 years. I was trying to get out of that situation, trying to find my way, trying to just figure things out. Having my baby definitely inspired me because it made me go back to wanting to reopen and rebrand my jewelry boutique and wanting to do something for her. And then having a miscarriage, I wanted to talk to women about womb health and the effects of miscarriage. And that's why I say, like, I've always wanted to kind of be a voice for women who experience certain traumatic things, especially with motherhood and womanhood. I've been through a lot, and most of us have, right? A lot of women, we all go through the motions of womanhood and being a young woman and just figure it out. So 2021, I was really just asking myself, how do I heal? What is next? Where do I start the healing process? That was hard, because I didn't know where to start, right? So I was looking at YouTube videos. I bought the self-help books. I read the articles, and it was like nothing and nobody was telling me, where do I start? Where do you start? It was just like, oh, you want to heal. You want to get over this toxic relationship. You want to be a better you. You just be a better you. You just heal. And I became really frustrated because I needed the details of where do I start to get to the place where I want to be. The end of 2021, it was really me in a very depressive state, still dealing with postpartum depression, finding out that I was pregnant with my son. That was very hard for me in the beginning because I was contemplating wanting to keep the pregnancy or terminating. So we're going to talk about that in a future episode as well. So it was really hard for me. I just needed to figure out, where do I place my foot first, and do I use my right or my left? What do I do? Because I didn't want to keep hitting roadblocks. 2021 was kind of the start with relearning myself, figuring out what I like, what I didn't like, my traumas, not just my childhood traumas, but traumas in all aspects of my life. The good things that happened as well, the motivational things, the inspiring things that made me who I am today, the people that affected me in my life, negative and positive, and also how I affected other people. So it was a lot of self-reflection in 2021, and that's why I say 2021 for a lot of us, it was a big year of self-reflection. So going into 2022, again, I don't necessarily have set New Year resolutions. Can't even say I have set goals, and I might be contradicting myself because I do have goals. Like, for example, I'm restarting my healing journey from a different perspective based off what I've learned. I want to buy a home. I have to buy me and my babies a home. Like, I never want to be homeless again. I never want them to experience that. That is something I'm going to do. I need to fix my credit. I need to heal from my experiences and my trauma and the trauma I've caused other people. I want to put my babies in private school. I want to have a fat ass savings. So for me, 2022 is just really about redefining my identity. And that kind of goes into the next topic, redefining my identity, because I'm more than just a baby mama. Like, I'm more than a mother. I feel like you lose your identity after having a baby. I also believe that you lose your identity in relationships, friendships with your family, and your career, because you're constantly having to adjust to what other people may need you to be in their life and what you need to be as far as your title, whatever title or role you have within the the workplace. So it's even harder when you're not familiar with yourself before motherhood. I can say that I knew who I was, but I don't think I ever really knew. And I don't think any of us really know. I think we're just kind of taking it day by day. Like, if you don't understand who you are, the basics of what you like, the core of what makes you you, you definitely will lose yourself. When you become a mom, it's like that's your title forever. You are a mother. Everything you do is attached to the child. You can't be wrong. You can't be weak. You can't be vulnerable. You can't. You have to do it. You have to show up every single day. Let me make this clear. Women do have a choice. We have a choice. If we don't want to be mothers, you have that choice. There are multiple things that you can do to not go through with motherhood. But if you make the choice to take accountability, or you want to be a mom, like I wanted to be a mother, not this young and not under the circumstances that I had my babies, but I've always wanted to be a mom. So of course I was going to take that accountability and I was going to show up. So motherhood is really hard. I had 3 pregnancies back to back. Transitioning from high school, that was hard. I was just like still trying to figure out who I was, like what was my place and my purpose on earth. I was in relationship after relationship back to back. I had a very short window, in my opinion, of just dating and getting to know other people. But even then, I still didn't really know who I was and what I liked to know, the type of partner that I wanted. And so I went straight into a relationship that moved really quickly, that led to me being pregnant all these freaking times. I got pregnant with my first baby, had a miscarriage. I lost myself in that. That was the first time I've experienced grief. I've had people that have died in my family, and I've had classmates that have died, and I'm not gonna say it was hard, but I cried because that was just my emotion at the time. Maybe I'm kind of disconnected from that. I'm still trying to work through my disconnection with certain things, but I can definitely say with my first pregnancy, after having a miscarriage, that was my first time experiencing grief, because it was my baby. I felt that. I felt the baby growing in me. I went through the phases, the early stages of pregnancy, and then I just didn't feel anything after that short period of not feeling pregnant and being aware, oh my God, like this pregnancy isn't viable anymore, but wanting to remain positive. So trying to just blur my mind and like, oh no, it's okay, everything is okay. And I wasn't okay. And then going into a hospital, not being heard, not being taken seriously, having to go through the pains and the contractions and the cramps and feeling life leave my body, doing that by myself. It was really hard. Then I got pregnant with my daughter right after that. That was something, because of course I wanted the pregnancy to stick. Like I said, I've always wanted to be a mom, and I didn't want to lose another baby, even though I felt like, I was 21. I didn't think I was necessarily ready to be a parent, but I didn't want to go through the grieving process again. I wanted my baby to stay, and so she did, and just a lot of things. Okay, so like going through that, even this current pregnancy, I feel like I lost the core of who I am. When I was in high school, I feel like I was more in touch with my femininity. Now, not so much. Now I feel like I'm not gonna say I'm more masculine than feminine, because I know that's a word a lot of people is kind of throwing out there and throwing around, but it's the truth. I think right now I am more masculine than normal, and I had this conversation with my mom and my sister, and we all kind of felt the same way, where we felt like in the past few years we've had to be so masculine because we've had to protect ourselves by ourselves and offer ourselves that security and be so tough, and so you kind of lose the softer parts of you. And femininity isn't just soft all the time, because it's really not. For what I learned, femininity was, but for me, my femininity lies in how I present myself to the world. I was big on doing my makeup, big on doing my hair, big on always showing up the best version of myself myself, because I didn't wear makeup every single day, but I still put the effort in to show up and be the best version of Zy'Amber that I possibly could. And going through a toxic relationship and being a mom, I lost that because I was just like, I'm just here. I'm here. Be grateful that I even showed up. The best parts of me or not, I'm here. And I don't want to live through that anymore. It was very depressing, not presenting yourself in the best way that I knew I could. That's definitely what I'm focusing on. So I'm getting back into that. I'm gonna give some short examples of some things that I've been kind of doing. So I do my own acrylic sets. This kind of goes into like self-care, right? I'm starting back doing some makeup. Even if I don't do a full face, I put on some mascara, some lip gloss, maybe a little highlighter or something. I wear my best earrings. I am a glasses wearer. I'm blonde as a bag. So I bought 4 pairs of frames, different aesthetics, different styles, bold colors, just to kind of switch it up sometimes. And that's the way I express who I am as an individual, right? I wear my natural hair. I've always kind of made sure my hair was presentable, but I was one of them girls stepping out with the bonnet. I'm not ashamed of it. That's what I did, okay? But now I tend to my hair more at this time. Another thing, doing my nails, doing acrylic set myself at home. I don't have a lot of money. We're gonna talk about that too. You know, I think that self-care is big necessity when it comes to being a woman, and even in motherhood. Still take care of yourself. So with me, I do my acrylic sets at home. I buy the little $7 kit from Walgreens. I do me a good cute little French tip, girl, short little French tip, so I can make sure I can still change my kid. And I keep it cute, keep it simple. If I don't have the time to do the acrylic set whenever my baby is asleep, I have a whole nail kit, whole little nail salon in here. I paint my nail, I go to the Dollar Tree, go to Walmart, give me some cheap, cute nail polish, little top coat. I do my toes, I do my mask, I do my bubble baths. I've been investing more into my health. I have high blood pressure and postpartum depression. And so I've been I ordered some herbs and flowers and different things that I can mix in my teas, and certain spices like saffron and other things to put and incorporate in my food to kind of level out my high blood pressure, level out depression, so that way I could be as healthy and as balanced as I can. Okay, so I feel like everybody needs a good balance in life, and that's really what I'm trying to do. So to wrap everything up, last thing I want to say is I'm very new to podcasting. This was a really interesting process to figure out what equipment I needed, the software, having to have multiple softwares. This is very new for me. I'm still gonna do it. Like I said, I still want my voice to be heard. I've always wanted to be heard. I've always wanted to speak my truth. And so for me, this is like my personal diary. And if you made it this far, I really appreciate you for making it to the end of this episode. And hopefully, I know after doing this for a while, I know that it'll get better. The episode, the segments, everything will get better. I'm just trying to remember to not be so hard on myself and just take it one step at a time and breathe. So if you made it this far at the end, thank you. The key takeaway from today's episode is try to show up for yourself every day. Be a better you as often as possible. Set goals that are realistic and don't beat yourself down if you miss deadlines. Give yourself grace. Be patient with your journey. Wear a mask. Stay dangerous. All right, y'all. Thank you guys so much for listening. Oh my God, we made it, y'all. This first episode. So excited. Again, subscribe to the channel here on YouTube. Okay, subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts and Anchor. Same name, Baby Mama Anonymous. Get your fingers moving in the comment section below. Tell me, how did you feel about this episode? Give me some feedback. Do you have any goals this year? You gonna leave that nigga alone? Maybe. I don't know. If you have a question or you want to request a topic for an episode, email xbmapodcast@gmail.com. All right, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Bye.